Just show you real quick what happened. I got surgery right here on the arm. I also got shot in my other arm to where it went straight through and didn't hit a nerve. That's why this arm is okay. I also got shot in this arm, but it went straight through and it didn't hit any nerve, so it was able to heal. This right here, it grows 1 millimeter a day, which is smaller than a centimeter. So it's gonna take a year or a little bit more to get the feeling all the way back up to here. So right here, from here to here, it grows 1 millimeter a day. So I won't be getting the feeling back in my arm, in my 2 fingers, I should say, for maybe a year.
Man, this story right here is wild. One of those moments in hip-hop history that almost changed everything. Cameron, Harlem's very own, the pink fur-wearing Dipset general, nearly lost his life in Washington, D.C. one night. And for years, nobody really knew the full story. Rumors flew, people made jokes, blogs twisted details. But now, for the first time, Cam's finally telling his truth. And when you hear it from him, it's not just about fame or beef. It's about survival, loyalty, and how one night almost erased one of Harlem's biggest icons. The year was 2005, and Cameron was on top of the world. Killa Season was dropping, Dipset was everywhere, and Cam was the face of that Harlem hustle. Money, style, and street power all in one. That weekend, he pulled up to Howard University's homecoming in D.C., one of the biggest annual events in the culture. It was all love, parties, fans, flashing lights. Cam was moving through the city like royalty, riding in his brand new sky blue Lamborghini Murcielago, one of the cleanest whips in the game at the time. That car was more than just a flex. It was a statement, Harlem's success on wheels. But that same night, success almost cost him his life. Around 2:30 a.m., Cam was leaving Love nightclub when everything went sideways. He stopped at a red light near New York Avenue and North Capitol Street, and that's when a black SUV pulled up next to him. At first, he ain't think much of it, just another car on the road. But within seconds, shots rang out, the windows shattered, glass flew everywhere. Cam got hit in both arms. Bullets tore through the side of his car, and chaos broke out instantly.
It was, this Howard homecoming, the streets was packed. It was a lot of. So I'm like, yo, Hud, you see this waving a gun? And he's trying to open my door, but my doors is locked. But I didn't think nothing like this gotta be an undercover, because a waving a gun this brazen, so to speak, in front of this many people, it had to be undercover in my brain. So I said, Hud, look at this waving a gun, what's up? So Hud, people who know my brother Hud, it wasn't funny, but the way he said it was funny. He's like, Gil, he called me Gil. He's like, Gil, you think you want to get out of here? Maybe? So I was like, word, because I didn't know if it's undercover or not. And for those people that know, I had the Gallardo at the time, the Lamborghini Gallardo. Once you stop for more than like a minute, the car goes into neutral automatically. So when I went to step on the gas, the car wasn't moving. And once I revved the gas, it just started dumping in the car, shooting.
Now, most people would have panicked, but Cam stayed calm, even while bleeding. He hit the gas and drove himself out of the scene, trying to escape before the shooters could circle back. Witnesses said he peeled off at full speed, crashing through traffic lights, trying to survive. He later said, God was with me that night. I wasn't supposed to make it. Think about that. Getting shot twice behind the wheel in a foreign city and still finding the strength to get away. That ain't luck. That's Harlem grit. When police arrived, Cam had already made it to Howard University Hospital. He was bleeding heavy, but still talking, still alert. Reports said he even refused to hand over his jewelry or answer too many questions. One witness said Cam told the cops straight up, I ain't no victim, I'm good. That's the mindset of a street king. Even when shot, never show weakness. And that's exactly how Cam played it in public. By the next morning, the media was already spinning wild stories, saying it was a carjacking attempt, saying he got robbed for his chain, even claiming it was tied to some street beef or music industry setup. But the truth? Nobody really knew. The only thing people knew for sure was that Cameron had survived a close call, and that he wasn't saying much about it. He left the hospital that same day, his arm bandaged, his pride intact, and his silence speaking louder than any press statement could. It was the kind of night that could have ended a legend story, but instead it became one of the wildest chapters in Cameron's life. And even though the world moved on, that moment stuck with him. until now. Because years later, Cam finally opened up about what really happened that night in D.C. and why it changed him forever.
And I'm driving on oncoming traffic, like on the I, like if it's I-95, I'm driving on oncoming traffic, weaving all the traffic, and then HUD is like, Gil, they're not behind us, I think we good. But then I look down and I see mad blood. I'm like, yo, I think I hit. I didn't feel nothing, but I was like, yo, I think I'm hit. And so I finally got off the highway, and then the car broke down, and I'm like, why would we break down right by the project? But the streets is so flooded, it's crazy. So the car break down, I run up the mad people window bleeding, like, yo, can you take me to the hospital? They like, yo, get away from here. Like, yo, you all shot up Gad. And then one person recognized me, this dude, he's like, oh, Cam. I was like, yo, I'm shot. Can you take me to the hospital? So I jumped in with him. It's mad traffic. I'm just sitting in traffic. I'm like, yo, you gotta get me to the hospital. This nigga calling, yo, Cam shot. I got him in the whip. I say, yo, bro, did you just get me to the hospital? And then
You remember his name?
Nah, I actually don't. And I wish I could send him something. Cause when I pulled up, I didn't know where I was bleeding from. I just knew it was blood. And then when I pulled up to the hospital, I just ran in the ER. And then I basically was in the ER, and then, they probably put me to sleep. Everybody came over there. And then when I woke up, the cops was there. They were like, you see, the regular shit. I'm like, I really don't know who did it, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of what happened. I ended up actually going to jail behind that shit because I was on probation at the time. And they was like, if you don't cooperate, then we violating your parole because you wasn't supposed to be in D.C. anyway.
After that night, the story took on a life of its own. Everyone in hip-hop had an opinion, but nobody had the truth, not even the police. Media outlets said it was a robbery gone wrong, but Cameron knew better. He said from day one that it wasn't about money. It was about ego and jealousy. He said, they ain't want my car. They wanted my name. That hit deep because that night wasn't random. Word on the street was Cam had been making too much noise in the industry, flexing too hard, talking too loud, and stacking too much money. In a business full of hidden enemies, that kind of energy always draws hate. And it wasn't like Cam didn't have beef. Around that time, he was mixing it up with people on both the streets and in the rap game. The Dipset movement had the city on fire. Harlem pride was louder than ever, and everyone wanted a piece of it. Some say the DC incident was connected to industry politics. Others think it was street envy. But when Cam finally opened up, he said it was simple. Somebody wanted to make a name off him. He said, they saw me in that Lambo, thought I was food. They found out I wasn't. What people don't realize is that Cameron wasn't just a rapper. He was a street dude first. He wasn't new to pressure or violence. When those shots went off, his instincts kicked in. He didn't freeze, he fought to live. And that's exactly what made his story different. While most rappers would have been rattled, Cam went back to work like nothing happened. A few weeks later, he dropped Killa Season and even referenced the shooting, rapping, "You shoot me, I'll shoot you, I'm back for revenge." It was his way of saying, you can't break me.
I went down to D.C. It was Howard homecoming. I was just really going to hang out because I knew I wasn't booked that weekend, but I was like, I'm going to go hang out. I knew Jim and Jewels had parties, so I'm like, I'm going to go with them. Went down there to hang out, had a good time. We went down there pretty deep. It was, I probably had like 6 cars with me. And basically, I pulled up at a red light, me and my bro HUD. And we was at a red light, and a guy pulled up next to me and pulled a gun out, and he's waving the gun in my car. A Lamborghini's low to the ground. So I thought it was an undercover police officer because there was so many people outside.
But what really blew fans' minds was how Cam handled it publicly. He didn't play the victim. He didn't cry for sympathy. He smiled through it, laughed on interviews, and even told Bill O'Reilly on national TV that he wasn't scared of anything. That boldness, that Harlem toughness, became part of his legend. Still, those closest to him said the shooting changed how he moved. He started trusting fewer people, keeping his circle tighter, and avoiding unnecessary appearances. The craziest part? The FBI and DC police never found the shooters. Nobody got arrested, no one was charged. It just disappeared, like it never happened. And that's where the mystery got darker. Some say it was inside work. Others think someone high up wanted it buried. But Cam? He just let the streets talk. He said, if you know, you know. For years, that line haunted fans. What did he mean? Was it a setup from someone he trusted? Was it music beef disguised as street drama? The truth was buried in the silence. But behind the calm smile and flashy lifestyle, Cam was living with the memory of staring death in the face and beating it. He survived the kind of situation most people don't walk away from, and instead of running from it, he wore it like armor.
Cam got shot. I think he was some type of carjacking or whatever the case may be. Cam wasn't going for it. And that right there kind of brought us closer. Because after Cam got shot, we kind of like, it was like, damn, Cam got shot, the big homie. We protected that. Like he was God after that. And he called meetings. We was in the studio. Matter of fact, that's how the record Get 'Em Daddy got done. After Cam,
did y'all think of it in the video?
he had the sling in the video.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So right after he got shot, he called the meeting. Everybody pulled up to the studio. Cam was on his bullshit. He was on straight gangster shit. As a matter of fact, remember when Tony Montana had the sling in Scarface?
Yeah.
Cam was on that type of time.
Yeah.
So he was like moving like a real true boss at that time. And that kind of brought us closer and we knocked out mad records.
Years later, Cam finally decided to tell the full story in his own words. No PR filters, no label edits, just raw truth. In an interview, he said that night in D.C. was the wake-up call I didn't ask for. He talked about how fame had blurred his reality, how he started thinking he was untouchable until life reminded him otherwise. He said he'd been moving reckless, too flashy, too visible. I forgot how the streets work, he admitted. You can't be both the target and the trophy. Cam broke down exactly what went through his mind the moment those shots went off. He said, I seen the window crack, I heard that sound, pop, 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 and all I could think was, not like this. He described how the pain hit instantly, but adrenaline took over. He wasn't even thinking about dying, he was thinking about getting out. I ain't freeze, I ain't call nobody, I just drove. That statement right there sums up who Cam is. Even wounded, he was still in control. He said he didn't call the cops because he didn't trust them. He called his team. Dipset pulled up deep that night, making sure the word on the street was that Cam was alive and good. He said, if they thought I was dead, they would have tried to spin back. That move, making sure the streets knew he survived, was strategic. He wanted his enemies to know he wasn't an easy target.
Cam went through a lot. He got shot over that road. In Washington. Yeah, that was over there.
Yeah.
And even like, and he's never told this story, but like it was times I didn't really realize what happened. He was like, I was asking him to do another role once. He was like, yo, bro, I got shot over, because it was a certain scene that he was like, I don't want to do that scene. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, it's going to be too much. So almost, when I found out that, I felt a little responsible, and I never wanted to put anybody in that position again, because people take this story really serious. So it has to be really done completely correctly. But there was a lot of layers that happened and perspectives that weren't told.
What people never knew is that after that night, Cam struggled mentally. He said, I was smiling in public, but I was paranoid. Every car behind me felt like danger. For months, he barely left Harlem. He didn't talk about it in interviews because he didn't want to look weak. But deep down, that experience stayed with him. He said he learned how fast love turns to envy, how success attracts snakes. People don't shoot you for who you are. They shoot you for what you represent. Even other rappers started reacting. 50 Cent joked about the incident during their brief feud, but later said, at least Cam stood tall, he ain't hide. Jay-Z was reportedly one of the few who reached out privately, and fans noticed that after the DC shooting, Cam's music changed. It got darker, colder, more reflective. It wasn't just braggadocio anymore. It was pain, wrapped in punchlines. He stopped chasing radio hits and started focusing on ownership, independence, and building his own legacy. That's why, years later, when he finally opened up, fans respected it. They realized it wasn't just a street story. It was a story about survival, fame, and the cost of being too visible in a world that loves to hate success.
Rico is really Alpo in real life. And what Murder's saying is he just got killed in front of the precinct. So why would you want to be a who just got killed in front of the precinct, for those who didn't understand what Murder was talking about. Because Pat Bev made a statement saying that, yeah, I was watching a movie. I mean, I thought Rico was some real nigga. I'd rather be him than Mitch. And I'm like, I didn't want to be Rico. Me and Dame Dash had a whole argument about that part. I'm like, yo, he said, Killer, it's all good. You know what happened when I played Rico? They shot me in D.C. That's what happened when I played Rico. Say you snitch ass nigga. They confusing motherfucking movies with real life. But you know why them DC niggas for me? Because I didn't tell, because I was on probation. You know what happened? I got shot and went to jail because I was on probation and wasn't supposed to be in DC. So when I got shot, they said, you either tell us who did it or you go to jail. I said, send me to jail. Then I went to Rikers.
Looking back now, Kamran says that night in D.C. changed everything. Not just how he moved, but how he lived. It was the night Harlem's flyest rapper became a survivor. He said, after that, I stopped trying to prove I was real. I knew I was. That's when he truly became a boss. Not because of money or music, but because he learned the power of silence. After the shooting, Cam kept grinding. He built Dipset's legacy, helped launch careers, and started getting serious about business. TV deals, sports talk shows, and new ventures. But if you look close, you can see the difference. Less flashing, more focus. He said he realized fame don't protect you. It paints a target on your back. Everybody love you when you win, but success come with wolves. He also revealed how close he came to dying that night. Doctors told him the bullet missed a major artery by inches. If that shot was 2 inches higher, I'd be gone, he said. He took that as a sign from God. From then on, he said he moved with gratitude and a warning for the younger generation. Don't think because you made it out the hood, the danger disappears. Sometimes it just follow you in a nicer car.
Speaking of the Get 'Em Daddy video, that video was shot in your hood.
Yes. I had Cam in my hood with over $5 million in jewelry on with no security. I had Cam in my neighborhood around murderers, gangsters, and thieves with $5 million of jewelry on with no security.
Okay,
Let that sink in.
Why did you decide to do it in your? Why did you decide to do it?
It was Cam out there.
Okay.
He like, yo, we're going to your neighborhood, we're going to your block, we shooting it over there. I'm putting all the chains on, I'm bringing all the cars out. I'm just sitting there like, all right, okay, I gotta get the shooters, I gotta make sure everything is good, nothing's gonna happen over out there.
You governed the whole situation, you governed everything, make sure everything was running smooth in the hood, yeah? Okay, and the shoot went great, went good, as you can see.
Nothing happened, everything went smooth. The neighborhood showed love.
The funny thing is, despite all the rumors, Cam never named names. He never told the world who he thought was behind it, and that's part of why fans still respect him. He handled it like a real one. No snitching, no clout chasing, just truth and perspective. That's why when he finally told the story years later, the reaction wasn't just shock, it was admiration. People said, Cam ain't just survived the streets, he survived fame. Now, almost 2 decades later, that night still follows him. Every interview, every podcast, someone brings it up. But instead of anger, Cam speaks with calm. He said, it taught me balance. You can't move reckless forever and expect no consequence. That wisdom came at a cost, but it's the reason he's still here today. So yeah, the night Cameron almost lost his life in D.C. wasn't just another hip-hop headline. It was a warning, a turning point, and a testament to resilience. The flashy Harlem kid who used to wear pink minks learned that being real ain't about what you wear or what you own. It's about surviving what was meant to destroy you. And that's why, even now when Cam talks, people listen. Because he's not just telling a story, he's telling his truth. A truth that reminds everyone, fame don't make you safe, money don't make you untouchable, and even the strongest can bleed. But if you're built like Cam, you get up, wipe the blood, and keep driving. That night in D.C. could have been his ending. Instead, it became his rebirth.